I'm Blake, and we're going to walk through the steps necessary to create an avatar. So this starts up after you have already created an account and gone through the steps necessary to acquire your free avatar. And then after you've done that, in your account profile page, you'll see this Auto 3D Avatars link, which takes you to your library. And now you just click the link to get started. Now, everything about creating an avatar is dependent upon the quality of your source photo. Using a flash is great, but you want to make sure you're a good 10 to 15 feet away from the subject. The reason you want to use a flash is because it gives white light illumination to the subject. Something that a lot of people don't understand is a lot of indoor lighting is not white, and so it puts a tint shift on the subject's skin. And then likewise, because you want to be a good distance away from the subject so that the flash doesn't blow out their face, you want to zoom on their face. Zooming does two things. It gives us more textured data to analyze your face, as well as when you zoom your photo, it reduces the perspective distortion, which is very important. And then of course you want the subject to be looking at the camera, you want their hair off their face, any glasses or jewelry removed, and they should have a neutral expression. Now for more information and a lot more detail, here's more information describing how to give a quality source photo. But let's jump right in and use one. Okay, so we've got down here Nancy. Okay, and when you select between these different radio buttons, what you're essentially doing is you're selecting between different neural nets. And although Nancy's photo is pretty close to Passport, we'll use any other photo of a human face. This selection here allows the face to be up to 30 degrees left, right, up or down, and it can still find the face. And then of course Nancy's a female, and there's different neural nets between a child and someone post-puberty. The reason being that a person's skull shape changes as they get older, and so we have different neural nets to take that into account. And then of course you need to have a legal right to use the source photo. So now we're just going to upload that photograph, and at this point we can jump ahead and just do the 3D reconstruction, or we can provide eye coordinates. Now the reason you want to provide eye coordinates is it allows the system to operate a little bit faster, and it also just ensures good quality results, as you'll see in just a moment. So I'm using my mouse wheel and dragging my mouse in order to position Nancy's photograph. And there's also keyboard controls that'll do the same thing. When it's positioned, we just click on the center of each eye, confirm that we've got the center of the eye. It doesn't really have to be the center of the eye, just needs to be generally around the eye. And then if you don't like it, you can click here and re-loop through, but this looks pretty good. So now we're opening up API connection to remote servers located in downtown Los Angeles. This is the 3D Avastores server cluster, where we've got dozens of neural nets all hosted on several servers, all custom built, much more powerful than what you can get from Amazon or any cloud provider, because essentially we're doing some complex heavy lifting here. Alright, so here we have a WebGL display showing the initial reconstruction, and here's a facial marker placement guide explaining where all these little annotation points are supposed to go. And you can see the neural nets did a pretty good job. So what I'm doing here, I'm using the mouse wheel, and the mouse wheel will zoom wherever the mouse is located, and I'm just going to do some little adjustments to Nancy's annotation point locations. These are where the neural nets located her facial features, and it does the best that it can, but of course it's an extremely difficult problem. And so there I've approximated the shape of her face a little bit better. And now do a couple subtle corrections to her lips. Now what this is actually doing is this is providing information used by the neural nets. This is actually a neural net pipeline. So there's one neural net that, well, actually the pipeline, there's several pipelines. There's a neural net pipeline that is used to locate the facial features. Then there's another separate pipeline that uses that in order to construct the subject's face. So what I'm doing here is I am making subtle adjustments so that the shape of the annotation points more accurately represent Nancy's face. And what this does is it's going to be using the texture data and the annotation point information to try to find a similar annotation and facial structure in one of the 17,500 actual real people that the neural net was trained with, where there were 17,500 actual people had high-resolution laser scans captured of them, and with each laser scan dozens of photographs were taken of the subject from different angles, different lighting conditions, different quality cameras, and then with the combination of all of that, we're able to train the neural net to go from a photograph to a accurate representation of the person in the photo. So at this point, I'm refining the reconstruction. It's only sending the annotation points back, and so it'll operate a little bit faster. And additionally, you'll notice that I moved annotation points and I did not change the iris color. Currently, with the way the system works, if you've moved annotation points, then don't change the iris color, because changing the iris color is treated as a unique operation and it will lose any annotation editing. So here at this point, we're satisfied with the way Nancy's annotations look. We've got the shape of her face very well captured. So now I'll give her the eye color that close matches her eyes. And notice that this is purely for the web interface. When you get your avatar downloaded, there's Iris Library with about, I think, 30 eyes in it. So here now we've got a pretty good view that is a pretty good representation of Nancy. So now we accept it, and now we're able to download. It has a little summary of where we're at. If we go up and click on to edit, at this point you can't really edit the reconstruction anymore, but you can see the annotation points that were used to create this reconstruction. And now I download, and this will integrate the new reconstruction with the Maya scene file containing an animation rig, download about 10 megs worth of data, and that's it. We've now created our own avatar.